Hello artists, it is Mrs. Simpson, and in this demonstration video I am going to show you how to complete your sketchbook assignment for color. First of all, you're going to have to gather your materials. You're definitely going to need the reference sheet. The reference sheet has the key vocabulary words and their definition, which is really going to help you answer the questions then on the worksheet. So it is really best if you can print the worksheet out. At the very least. If you cannot, then you will just be displaying and demonstrating an example of each one of these on a blank piece of paper. So let's get started here. Most of us only have black ink, so you can see this has been printed in black and gray tones, which is fine because I can still read the terminology and it has the colors labeled. But what I also have up here on my computer, which you cannot see, is the color wheel to reference. All right, some other materials you are going to need is obviously color, since you can't do this in black and white because the element of art is color, of course. You can use anything. You can use markers. You could use colored pencils. You could use crayons, anything that you have handy. What I am going to do in this demo video is I'm going to use paint. Because if you don't have crayons, if you don't have markers, if you don't have color pencils, all of you should have received in your art kit acrylic paints that look something like this. So this is what I am going to be using because I know that all of you do have this or should have this handy to use. So what colors do I need to put on my palette here? This is a palette, any type of surface that's going to hold your paint, and all you need are the primary colors. So even if you don't have the paint that was sent to you, you can go out and purchase paint and you only need 3. The primary colors are red, yellow, and then blue. So when you open these, your brand new container, you're gonna notice that it's sealed, or it should be sealed at the top with kind of that foil seal. On the other end of your cap is a little pointer. You're going to puncture that in there and it's now opens. And then I can put my blue on my palette. All right, so not only are you going to need color, but if you're using paint, you're going to need something to put the paint on. This little plastic plate will do, or a paper plate. You're going to need a cup. I got our school cup here to use, and a paintbrush. I'm not using any fancy paintbrush. I'm using a brush my daughter got for Christmas in a pack. I would suggest using a smaller tip brush since we're working with smaller shapes here to fill in. And this is just a little cheapo acrylic Crayola brush. But in your art kit, you should have received brushes. And here are some that I have from in the years past. I would go with some of the smaller tipped ones for this painting assignment. All right, so let's get started here. On the top, along the top here, it's asking you to fill in the value scale to show tints and shades. Tints here and moving into shades. If you're not too sure what those are, I'm going to go back to my reference sheet. And at the bottom here are definitions of hue, value, shade, tint, and intensity. Tints are the lighter version of the color, where the shades are the darker version. So I need to go from light to dark, and that's what I'm going to do here now. All right, for the next box here, I'm going to fill in the circles to show how secondary colors are made. So it's blank plus blank equals blank. And the equals blank here is our secondary color. So that is the color that we're trying to get to. What are the secondary colors? Well, if I go back to our reference sheet here, on the reference sheet, I'm going to look for the word secondary colors. And I'm going to go from purple. I'm going to follow that line to green, follow over here to orange. So purple, green, and orange are our secondary colors. To get green, I am going to mix yellow. So I'm going to put yellow here. And blue. Now when I mix a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue, I'm going to get green. Okay? Next is purple. I need to put what colors I'm going to mix to get purple. To get purple, I'm going to mix red and blue. When I mix red and blue, I get purple. All right, next is orange. To get orange, I'm going to mix yellow and red. Which this red I have here is already coming out kind of like a orange. There we go. All right, so in this box here, we're just showing how we mix the primaries to get those secondary colors. All right, the next box down here, I'm trying to show tertiary colors. What are those? Well, if I come back over here, tertiary colors, one primary color plus one secondary color mixed together. Okay, so we need the colors of one primary and one secondary. And when we mix those, we're going to get that tertiary color. So if I go back to my top here, I'm just going to start with this one. I'm going to take yellow because yellow is a primary color. And I need to take a secondary color. Green, purple, and orange are the secondary colors. So I'm going to take yellow and I'm going to mix it with green. Need to make some more green here. And when I do that, what I'm going to get then is if I mix some more yellow in with this green, I'm going to get a yellow green. Okay. Next is going to be, I'm going to come back to the top here and I'm going to take that primary color of red, just going right up top. And then I'm going to take that secondary color of purple. And when I mix those together, I end up with a red purple. Okay. And last but not least, if I go back up to this one here, I'm going to take one of the primaries. Let's see, I'll go with yellow. Need to actually put some more yellow out here. These are not the greatest paints, but if you give it an attempt, I'm going to see that you tried. And then the second, I'm going to go with that secondary color of orange. And when I mix those together, I am going to get a yellow-orange, okay? So basically this worksheet is a time for you to mix and to play around with the colors, okay? Now down here, I need to fill out the color wheel. So for this part here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with those primary colors again. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. So on my color wheel, and I'm looking at the one on my computer screen, I'm going to start off with red. You can put it in any one you want, starting. But now from here, I need to space them out accordingly. So I need to make sure that I am drawing this triangle. And I'm spacing them with 3 in between. okay? So that's just your only thing you need to pay attention to when you're going to lay out your primary colors. So my next one will be blue. So what I'm gonna do is from red, I'm gonna count 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna put my blue right here. And then from my blue, I'm gonna put my yellow. There. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna put my yellow there. Now I need to fill in my secondary colors, which I know how to do that because I did them up here. So yellow and blue, see how they're spread apart? Yellow and blue, I need to put my green here. So it is important that we're putting our colors in the right spot. So on my palette here, I'm going to take yellow and blue, and I'm going to get green. And then I'll do the same moving around. So red and blue make purple. So I'm going to take a little bit of red, and a little bit of blue, and I'm going to get purple. Okay, red and yellow make orange. So I'm going to get my orange here, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, and there's my orange. Okay. Now, all these boxes in between here goes back to those tertiary colors. Okay. Those are the colors when I mix one primary and one secondary, I'll get. So the primary, secondary here, we need to do the ones that are on the outside of that empty spot. I'm going to take red and purple, and I'm going to get a red purple. So this is where we're going to start to see those different tints and shades of the color. Going around, I'm going to take purple and blue, and I'm going to get a blue purple. Green and blue, I'll get a green blue. A little bit more green. Green and yellow is where you'll get kind of that lime green color. Notice that I'm really cleaning that brush every time I go back so I can get these, my colors don't get muddy. If you don't clean your brush, your colors are going to get really muddy, because what happens when we mix all the colors in the color wheel together, you can try it. We're going to get a muddy brown. You can see my water. My water is that kind of muddy brown color. Yellow orange is get me a yellow orange. And then a red orange is going to get me that red orange. All right. There's your color wheel. Ta-da! In this box here, I'm looking for analogous colors. All right, what are analogous colors? Well, so happy you asked. If we come here to our handout and look for that keyword analogous colors, it's right here in the middle. Any 3 colors in a row on the color wheel. So any 3 colors that are in a row together. So in this case, I'm just going to do these here. I'm going to do red, red, purple, purple. So red. I'm going to put my purple here. Red, purple. So red, not my purple isn't very purple there, is it? Red, purple, purple. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Next are our complementary colors. Those are colors that are crossed from one another on the color wheel. This is your finished color wheel. All right, so if you followed along with me to the end, when you are all done, you'll want to make sure you put your name on it. Take a picture of it, scan it once it's dry, and then submit it to the Dropbox for grading.